Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and good morning to everyone. So now I welcome you guys to the Asia Speaks Forum for the topic Digital Entrepreneurship. So yeah, we just finished the focus group discussion and we'll talk about digital entrepreneurship. And I believe that some of you guys and maybe some of us too, we don't really understand what is digital entrepreneurship all about, what is the entrepreneurship, what is digital. And now I would like to focus that everyone here, we have handphones, right? Before this, we send message like 50 years ago, we send message to our friends, to our relative by using letters. But now, we are using our smartphones. And all it takes just by a little click and then the message has been sent. And now, what I want to focus here is that by sending the message in 1 second, it same goes to the entrepreneurship. Because if you don't use the technology, you can have your clients around your place, like around your zone. Like you open your business in Brunei and you can just, your clients in Brunei. But if you use the technology, you use your handphone, for example, you can have clients from maybe Argentina, from Malaysia, from Indonesia, and all the ASEAN countries perhaps. So for us to open this, I would like to introduce our speaker here. So for the first speaker, we have Ms. Izzati. Give her a round of applause. So her interest is about, she loves to do debates and extreme sport. So she is really a tough girl. And she inspired to every young entrepreneurs to enter the digital entrepreneurship. And the next speaker we have Mr. Alif Daniel. Give him a round of applause. So his interest is about Netflix and chill. He loves to be chill in conditions. And so he loves to do public speaking. And he aspired to make a world become a better, he aspired every of us to become a better version of ourselves every day. So next we have Mr. Hafiz, the CEO of HD Studio. So for first his business, he do photography wedding. So maybe one day, if I have a wedding, you can give me a discount, 50% perhaps. So next we have Miss Chai Roslin, the early childhood education, and also she has a lot of startups. So now, for the first question, that I would like all of the speakers to share his or her opinions. That's, could you share to all of us about digital entrepreneurship, maybe in 1 minute, so all of us can understand what is digital entrepreneurship is all about. So we start from the first speaker.
Testing. Okay, Assalamualaikum and hi. So, even though my name is Izzati, but I like to be called Tati.
Tati Chomel.
It sounds a little bit cute, right? Okay, so first of all, about digital entrepreneurship, what really comes to mind whenever I hear about this is online shopping. So has anybody here done online shopping before? Yeah, and one thing about digital entrepreneurship is about it promotes connectivity. So through online shopping, you can buy a product from China even though you're here in Brunei, right? Yes, and one more thing about digital entrepreneurship is that it doesn't just promote connectivity, but that it makes our lives easier. Because through digitalizing an entrepreneurship, you can make transactions easier in life, and it can save your time and energy. So that's all. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Mama Alif Daniel. You can call me Alif. I'm 18 years old. For me, if I can simply put digital entrepreneurship in one word, it will be a problem solver. Because I believe that an entrepreneur is someone that can solve problem. He or she sees a problem and he seeks the solution towards the problem. For example, if I want to solve a problem of waking up late in the morning, so I create something that actually helps this problem to be solved and so on. So simply put, a digital entrepreneur is someone that actually markets a business in the digital world and actually, and they also need to have fresh ideas in order to stay relevant in the industry. That will be all. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Hafiz. So basically, digital entrepreneurship ini, for me, it is something that everyone in Brunei needs to understand, and I think this is what we are now here. So each business or users are now friendly with digital entrepreneurship, meaning everyone needs to go online. Walaupun here in Brunei we're not that much e-commerce here, but as we can see that we use a lot of marketplace. Example, Facebook. In Facebook, most people are selling things are now in Facebook, and then so that they can contact with each other. So digital entrepreneurship is like buying things at the end of your fingers. So you can just buy anything just in a few seconds. So it is something that we need to venture more, and we need to understand and learn more about it, especially from friends here in Malaysia, from Malaysia and so on. Thank you. I think that's all.
Hello. Hi. Right. To me, digital entrepreneurship is an inevitable skill, an inevitable aspect of entrepreneurship, our livelihood. Can you imagine, like, not having any digital existence? I mean, we use emails now as a form of communication. We use WhatsApp. We use our phones for basically to do business, to do formal interactions even. So having digital entrepreneurship is somewhat a necessary aspect of moving towards the future, even currently. So in terms of digital entrepreneurship, it's one way or another we need to sort of have to understand, we need to sort of have this knowledge, and it takes every aspect, every sector, every industry to sort of collaborate, and this is what I see Asia Speaks have sort of achieved by having this conversation.
Okay, thank you to all the speakers. So, before, just now, Mr. Hafiz said about Facebook. So, this one fact for everyone. Do you know how many active users of Facebook all around the world? Can somebody guess how much the active users of Facebook? 2 point? Billion. Oh, wow. We only have 7 billion people around the world. Okay, so the total people for the active users, active Facebook users around the world is 2.1 billion. That's so much people. And the most populated country in this world is China. We only have 1.4 billion. So can you imagine how many people use Facebook? And if you do your internship in Facebook, how much can you gain from that? Okay, so the first question for the first speaker, Ms. Izzati. So first, how far do you think entrepreneurship should be digitalized to help the community development in terms of economy, especially in the rural areas? And next, how to increase meaningful youth participation to be an influencer to develop a community using digital elements? You get it? Okay. All right, please.
So, can I do this standing up? Is it okay with you? Okay, so from the questions right now, there's 2 questions, if you didn't realize. So I'm going to explain first on how digital entrepreneurship plays a role in community development. So in the question, Nazrie said how far do you think entrepreneurship should be digitalized, right? But ladies and gentlemen, we have to realize one fact, that in this era, technology is limitless. And it means that we cannot set boundaries. We cannot say, oh, we can expand digital entrepreneurship this far or this far, because technology is limitless. So what we can do is we can only set what stays traditional and what aspects should be digitalized. But then again, when we see we are living in a revolving era where back then people used to say that payment should stay traditional. You know, payment over the counter is more secured and more trusted, so we should just let it stay that way. But now we pay when we go shopping. we don't really need to bring our we don't really need to bring cash or credit cards, right? We can only bring our phones and then pay using PayWave or your e-wallet. So that is how the world is revolving today. To answer this question, next please. I would like to introduce to you a module implemented in Malaysia that is initiated by MDEC. MDEC is a government organization, the Malaysia Digital Economic Corporation. So one of the main objectives MDEC was created was first because they want to help entrepreneurs to digitalize their entrepreneurships, and also second of all, they want to help SMEs to venture digital entrepreneurship. So to answer the question, how far should entrepreneurship be digitalized? So this is the framework. First of all, these SMEs or startups should focus on getting found on the internet. So technology, if you venture into technology, it's a really long journey, right? So you have to take small steps to begin with. So that is why this module was introduced. So getting found on the internet means that marketing. So you know, Facebook ads, Instagram ads. So first, SMEs are encouraged to promote their business, to make the society, the public, to know about their businesses through social media. And we also have WhatsApp marketing and also search engine optimization. So do you know Google? And have you been browsing on Google and then suddenly there's an ad that pops up, right? Yes, so that is search engine optimization. So what you basically do is these entrepreneurs can pay Google, can buy a certain package that to promote their business. So what happens when the society already knows or is already familiar with your company? You go to the second stage through selling and transacting online. So buying, maybe during the first phase, you would be selling. You didn't have an online website. You just promoted it online, but all the buying stuff, it was done traditionally. But then, when we go to the second stage, through selling and transacting online, meaning that you have to set up your own website, you have to do digital advertising and marketing, and also in MDEC, it doesn't just suggest or give feedbacks to these entrepreneurs on what they should do. They also provide classes, and I think that this should be not just be implemented in Malaysia, but also other ASEAN countries too. And then after you have gained buyers who trust you and will stay for a long time, you go to the last stage, that is exporting. So you focus not just on your country, but you also focus on other neighboring countries. For example, has anyone heard of Fashion Valley before? Can I see a rise of hands? Okay, so Fashion Valley, okay, everybody knows, to those who don't know, Fashion Valley is an online shopping website in Malaysia that it's a platform where local fashion designers in Malaysia promote their products. So after expanding for like 10 years, Fashion Valley now caters for not just Malaysian fashion designers, but also ASEAN, namely Singapore and Brunei. So through this, by exporting, they don't just, through this platform, Fashion Valley, fashion designers, they don't just promote their products to customers only in the ASEAN, only in the Southeast Asia region, but also to Europe and also to the Middle East. So ladies and gentlemen, we see that how when digital entrepreneurship is implemented, you don't just can reach out to more people, but you can also increase your sales revenue, and that is one of the main key points that every entrepreneur wants, right? Okay, so has anyone been to Sabah before? Okay, so I would like to share a success story from one of our Malaysians. So if you see that side of the slide, she started off with small family businesses in the fishing industry, but due to various challenges, she stopped fishing business because everybody knows fishing business, it has a lot of risk and it's not really promising. So she decided to venture into healthy noodles. So you know noodles, they we don't read, some people say when you cook your Maggi, you're supposed to immerse it in hot water first, and then drain out the water, and then you use another set of water to cook the Maggi, right? Because why? Because in Maggi we use wax to ensure the food lasts for a long time. So Tan Kin Yen from Tawa Sabah thought that we should innovate healthy noodles, that because we see these wax, even though we immerse it in hot water, it doesn't really go out fully. So it's really dangerous for kids, you know, for infants who have low immunities. So what she did was that she ventured into healthy noodles, and she also did some innovation by adding colors to the noodles. So first of all, she tried to venture in Facebook ads, you know, because many people use Facebook, especially the elderlies. So she decided that her target customers was from Facebook. Okay, so next. Okay, so to answer the second question, youth as an influencer in digitalizing community. Okay, next. So as we know, influencers, right now we find influencers on social media, for example, YouTube and also Instagram. Next, please. So this is, in 5 seconds, this is how fast information is sent out. For example, for YouTube, 352,000 videos are watched in just 5 seconds. So if each youth in Brunei or each youth in Malaysia became an influencer to promote about digital entrepreneurship, can you imagine how much information could be sent out for people to know more about digital entrepreneurship? Okay, next please. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, we should take baby steps in for a long journey. So first is through social media. The youth can, the government should work with the youth to promote digital entrepreneurship, because not many people are exposed to this, especially in the education system. And second of all, the government should provide physical platforms for the students, for the youth to promote about digital entrepreneurship. For example, in policy making, we know that the youth are the ones who are going to lead the nation one day. So I believe that it is really important for the government to see the role to see the power of youth in contributing to the community, and for their views to be heard by the government. Last but not least, I really believe it's a good initiative for the youth to educate the community. For example, here you have DART, right? So I'm sure that not many, in Malaysia we have Grab, and not many elderlies are familiar with how to use Grab or how to pay your bills online. So I think it's really crucial that the government gives the youth a platform for them to educate the community about digital entrepreneurship. So just to share, in Malaysia we have Digital Lifestyle Malaysia, which is, it's a platform where the youth can teach the community about how to use online platforms. With that, thank you.
All right, thank you to Miss Izzati for the wonderful the Facebook ads. Do you think that all the ads in Facebook, YouTube, is your games is so annoying? Like you are playing your games and suddenly an ads pop ups and you need to wait for 5 seconds, and then you can continue your game. It's so annoying, but that's how you want people to know your business. If you don't do that, how can people around the world know your business? So it might be annoying for some people, and for the entrepreneurs, it's their money. So that's why we need to focus on digital entrepreneurship. So moving on to the next speakers. So the question for you, sir, from the education perspective, how do you think digital entrepreneurship can be promoted to young people? And how do you see it as one of opportunities as a future work? So please.
Okay, thank you very much, Nazrie. Okay, so if Tati is going to give she gave a speech while standing here, then I guess I'm going to give my speech over here and I'm also walking. Is it okay? Okay, so before we start, I basically have a joke. It's a knock-knock joke. So can you guys cooperate? So knock-knock. Amazon, the largest online retailer in the world. Okay, so to begin my speech, okay, so have you ever felt hungry in the middle of the night, but too lazy to go out and buy yourself a pizza? Or you don't want to pay the additional delivery fee, right? For example, 5 ringgit, $500, right? So, worry no more. Next. Worry no more. With the advancement of latest technology, drones can deliver your food at the speed of lightning, right? So this is what China is actually trying to do. They are the leading countries in the nation, in the world, that implementing this technology. So, do you have Costa in Brunei? Costa Coffee, yeah. So Costa Coffee also is trying to do the same thing in Dubai. So yeah, you can expect a fast delivery service after this. So okay, second situation. Have you ever felt so sleepy during your class, especially in history lessons? Because the teacher is so boring and monotonous, right? Because he or she don't know how to track your attention. So with now, the virtual reality VR education, next slide, can transform the way educational content is delivered, right? So basically, if you learn about how Malacca falls in the hand of Portuguese and so on, so you can actually experience this in 3D, in virtual reality, maybe make it real or fake, but you can actually see how, for example, how Christopher Columbus discovered America and so on. So this is the future, right? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the future that we are actually trying to pursue. So again, China is also the leading country in installing VR in the classroom. So yeah, so today I'm going to talk about digital entrepreneurship in terms of education and the future of works. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so this is, do you know Abraham Maslow? So Abraham Maslow is an American psychologist, and he proposed this theory called hierarchy of needs. So if you see, there are 5 stage, and according to his theory, you can only proceed to the next level, to the next tier, only if you have already acquired the previous stage. For example, the first one physiological. For example, bed, accommodation, food, the basic necessities, right? So according to his story, you can actually climb up the pyramid after you finally acquire all. So why do I put this in my slide, right? Because in the third tier, if you cannot see, which is love or slash belonging. Because as humans, we have needs, right? We have the needs to be loved, the needs to be belonged, the needs to be superior than others, need to have cars, need to have jobs and so on. So in the third level, love or belonging, we need to have the sense of being connected to others. And this is why being connected to others is more important than ever. And we believe that we should utilize this this time to be connected. Okay, moving on. So yeah, in Malaysia, last year, we actually proposed a National Entrepreneurship Policy, or DKN, Dasar Keusahawanan Negara 2030. So the government of Malaysia is actually trying to promote entrepreneurship in the youth and also all the citizens of Malaysia. As you can see, there are certain targets that we want to achieve by 2020 and how it can actually help to promote our GDP, help to boost our economy and so on. Sorry. So it is designed to develop an entrepreneurial ecosystem in Malaysia that will enhance the country's competitiveness in the global economy, because we witness the rising of Industry 4.0, the IR 4.0, and this is also to create an entrepreneurial culture in the Malaysian society. So next slide. So this is basically the aims or the objectives of this policy, this vision set by the Malaysian government. You can read it yourself. So when we have this guideline, this framework that what we are trying to achieve by 2030, we won't go out of this vision, right? So this is why it's important to have a vision in promoting entrepreneurship. Yeah, moving on. So now I'm going to touch about education in Malaysia. So for the primary education, 7 to 12, we don't actually promote entrepreneurship because it's too young, right? But in terms of secondary education, we have our own streams. For example, business streams, econ streams. Yeah, they can actually choose to study that and actually learn about business and entrepreneurship. But in terms of government initiatives, we have agencies, corporations, companies that actually work to promote the entrepreneurship in Malaysia. So like just now, like Tati said, we have MDEC, right? Malaysian Digital Economy Corporation. So under this corporation, we have My Digital Maker, which kind of like a competition that actually trying to get attention of the youth to participate and promote their talents, like for example coding, websites, and so on. So this is what we are trying to do. We are trying to create more talents. And MTEP, I believe in Brunei you have like I-Usahawan, is it correct? You know about I-Usahawan? Yeah, so basically MTEP is basically the same as I-Usahawan in Brunei. So, what we are trying to do is actually want to attract investors or foreign workers outside there that actually work as a digital entrepreneur and come in Malaysia and invest in our economy and so on. So basically, this is the three main pillars or what MDEC is trying to do in Malaysia. You can read it. To create a digitally skilled nation, digital business, and also do you know Upin Ipin? Is it famous in Brunei? And also Agent Ali, so on and so forth. So basically, this is what MDEC is trying to do. They are trying to focus about digital animation because that is the future that create works and so on, right? Okay, so next slide. So this is the Kembara under the My Digital Maker program. So this caravan or this RV actually travels to the whole Malaysia, not only limited to rural, urban areas, but also they travel to rural areas. So yeah, you can see of the RV, it's very futuristic, right? You can also like discover VR, 3D printing, animation. It's very interactive. Yeah, so this indirectly promotes sense of digital entrepreneurship to the students in a fun way. Yeah, thank you. So next agency, which is the Malaysian Global Innovation and Creativity Center, MAGIC. So the goal to drive sustainable entrepreneurship, blah, blah, blah. So basically what MAGIC does is they create a center in Cyberjaya where people can actually go and schools can make field trips to actually expose the students about the importance of digital entrepreneurship, the latest technology, because we are living in an era where technology is moving very fast at the speed of lightning, right? So we need to actually catch up with this at also a fast rate. So moving on. So yeah, just now I mentioned about secondary education, right? But in terms of tertiary education or university in Malaysia, we make it compulsory for all university students to take entrepreneurship as a course there, because we realize the importance of entrepreneurship education in Malaysia and how it can actually shape the young minds to be a good entrepreneur and have the young mind of an entrepreneur and solve problems, right? So yeah, so every public university students can learn about entrepreneur when they are in the university. So, oh yeah, fun fact, do you know that 90% of all future jobs will require digital competencies? So this is why I say that it's very important, because they will, the digital world actually can, we have to realize that we don't, the digital era can actually evolve very fast, and if we don't catch them, we might get left behind and cannot pick up and so on. Yeah, so okay, so that's about education. I'm moving on about hyper-connected world or the future of works. So basically everything is connected nowadays, right? Based on the Internet of Things, everything is connected from everything. You can see the chain is very connected because we live before that. So what do I say about the future of works? I believe that when an entrepreneur opens a business, create a new business, a jobs, it actually is not only for them, but it creates more futures for others, right? Because in order for you to start a company, you need a data analyst, you need a software developer, and so on. So this is why I say that digital entrepreneur creates more jobs, and it's actually a future, it's actually an opportunity for others to work in digital entrepreneurship. So for example, we have the lorry. The lorry is basically a mobile app based based. And the work of this thelorry.com is to like transport your items. For example, you want to move to a new office or a new house, so you can just download the thelorry.com mobile app, and they will settle or handle all the procedures. So this is where the digital entrepreneurship comes in handy to all of the citizens, right? So do you guys know Netflix? Who here watch Netflix? Yeah, in Malaysia, we have our own Netflix version, which is iFlix. So this iFlix is basically to promote the local shows, local TV shows, movies to the international level so that it can get internationally recognized. Just now, like Tati said, we have Fashion Valley, which is also growing very fast. And people have been online shopping since the past few years. And this shows that how digital entrepreneurs actually is the key player in the industry. Moving on. Okay, who here plays Mobile Legends? Oh, I see no hands from the university students. Okay, so basically Mobile Legends, ML, basically e-sport, a game. So you know that instead of actually wasting your time, wasting your battery, your data, your energy playing this game for nothing, you can actually generate income out of this. You can generate revenue and so on. Because one of the example, next slide. This is Artem Minakov. He's the founder of Opskin. So this website is basically about how you want to trade items or weapons that you found online with other gamers. So this is a revolutionary era of esport, and you can actually gain profit out of it, not just playing just for fun, just to waste time and so on, right? So actually generates like 12,000 US dollar a month, something like that. So yeah, so he sees a problem, he sees a chance of actually promoting trade in the game industry, and he creates a website. So this is what I say about entrepreneur earlier, how he actually saw a problem and he seeks a solution towards the problem. So yeah, here's the example of a digital entrepreneur. So yeah, that's how I end my speech. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Alif. The dog pictures, the lorry pictures. He doesn't use words. He only uses pictures because that he's a very relaxed person. So his points that I really love the most is about the youth. He said that the youth students, they have the entrepreneurship subject in the center. Because why? Because as the Malay proverb says, melentur buluh, biarlah dari rebungnya. So we need to educate the people from very young so that when they grow up, they can become the entrepreneur. So the first and the second, he said that 90% of the future work is more about digital. So that's why when the technologies evolve, we as the human, we also need to evolve. We need to develop our skills so that we can connect with the technologies and we can get the work that we want. Okay, so to the next question, I will ask the speaker from Brunei, Mr. Hafiz. So you do business like provide wedding photography, advertisements and all that. So digital marketing now is an important element to expand a business or services, especially for an entrepreneur. So about your opinion, how far the practice of e-commerce is being implemented in Brunei?
Okay. Hi everyone again. Okay. Talking about digital entrepreneurship or marketing, we usually practice here in Brunei. So basically, when we see back in years of entrepreneurship in Brunei, so you've been supported by a lot of government authorities or GLCs and so on. So it's not that hard anymore to start startup now compared to how we started 10 years ago. So basically, talking about digital entrepreneurship, how I turned my business into a digital. Previously it's a offline market, so we sell person to person, so we join exhibitions to get more clients and so on. But then after that, we just realized that most people are now don't go to that kind of events anymore. So most people are now we need to be available in the online market. So meaning in social medias, Instagram, and in Facebook. So. Then after that, when I ventured into the online, so it was quite easy. So at the time, I can connect with more people, so I can talk to more people, and more people can see what am I doing, and so on. So talking in generally about e-commerce, so to turn, I believe that online or e-commerce was a very a good step for every entrepreneur in Brunei or even outside, especially. But then in Brunei, we have some restrictions, which is now quite being discussed here, as I told just now, which is one of it is the e-payments or the payment gateways, which is now only provided by only one local banks in Brunei, which is also not really suitable for MSME or SMEs because the fares is too high. So then that's why most people are now currently doing it manually. So some people, which I heard, if they want to sell their things internationally or even to neighbor countries, so they need to go out, especially to Sarawak or to Sabah. So then they need to ship their things from Malaysia and so on, something like that. So actually we are pursuing the government to, or the relevant authority, you need to understand that most Bruneian are now know how to do it. So they need that facilities here in Brunei. So basically, but then we already see few startups being started by locals here, which is, I think we call it Naindah, or they can buy groceries here in Brunei, right? So I think I saw another one company which work closely with China authority or China industry of meaning businesses and so on. So meaning they can order things online. So by using this this company, which they have another partner there in China, so you don't have to worry about your things getting will not be arrive in Brunei or whatsoever because they have a partner there. So you just need to liaise with this company, and this company will bring this thing up into Brunei. So this is the thing that we are currently seeing as a e-commerce enhancement here in Brunei. So talking about my business, to be or to enter the e-commerce side, which is we provide services. So when we consider this last 2 years ago, so we think that it's not suitable for me, for this industry, especially in terms of photography and videography, to enter e-commerce. But instead, we can join the e-commerce site by registering or doing a website, which is a website which is currently we are doing 80% of it. We are currently stabilizing it in terms of mobile friendly. So we are trying to do something like buying a tickets type. So like an online a ticket fare, something like that. So basically they can see our schedule there. So they can see our calendars there. So they want to book what dates they need, so what kind of package they have and so on. Even though that we still prefer for them to consult with us personally, but then that's the thing that we don't want to miss out. That's what the speaker said just now. So the industry 4.0 is evolved very fast now. So we don't want to left behind. So we want to be in the game too. So that's the goal. So for entrepreneurs or any business that we establish now, I believe that we need to be online, at least on the social media. So that's the thing that we want to try to educate to more people also, especially when we talk with the youth that want to start a startup and so on. But then sometimes they don't know how to sell it online. They don't know how to present things online. So this is the thing that also being a hype to an industry, which is basically bringing more competitors in terms of the industry, especially when talking about my own industry. So basically we have an office, we have a very physical office, so we need to pay rent and so on. But then some of people, in terms of competitors, some of them actually just be at home, so but then they just market the same thing with us. But that's competition, right? So this is industry 4.0. So it's a bit crucial, so it's a bit hard for us to compete with each other. But we need to know what is the strategy, especially for us in a company. So we want to grow more better, and how we're going to unite this thing and together. So it is very, very important things for an entrepreneur to understand and to know which part or which area that they need to venture in. So sometimes we don't want just to open an e-commerce or just enter it without doing any things that we know what will happen in the future, right? So example like the lorry and so on. That was like a very good things that we need to think about, because there's a lot of things, especially in terms of providers. So that's the thing that we need to see in the service part of the industry. Yeah, so I think that's all for me.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hafiz. So he said about being available and not only the exhibition. So I remember one story of my friend of the exhibition, and she found a food that's really delicious. And when she back home, she tried to search the food online, but she can't find it. So next, she went again to the exhibition and met the seller, the owner of the shop. She told her that, hey, miss, I think you need to open one website or social media about your cake because your cake is so delicious. And you know what happened the next year? Her business expanded very wide throughout the nations by using the social media platform. So that's why when Mr. Hafiz said that you need to be available, you need to do online, at least social media, because by involved in social media, you can have all people around the world to test your food, to know what's your services, and all that. So that's why all of us, we need to venture into entrepreneurs and also, and most importantly, the digital entrepreneurship. Okay, so for the next speaker, Ms. Chai. So you are the businesswoman. So from the gender lens, how do you see digital entrepreneurship can help women to establish their own business or their own career?
All right. Thank you for the question. Just to give some context of the relevance of digital entrepreneurship in my business and my background, I founded a company called Creativate. We facilitate and develop children's education programs, and we take them outside to learn outside of the classroom. So how they learn and interact with the environment, that's pretty important to us. And having to have that program, parents really appreciate how much they can learn by socializing and by understanding what goes on around outside of their usual formal schools. And during my time at Creativate, I also ventured into other companies. The current company that I'm in is called Intern. We provide programs as well of edutourism, so we marry educational element to travel. And from there, I also do some tiny bit of internship with tech companies, local tech companies. So tech companies that provides tech solutions. And also started a company in InsurTech. And just going back to his question, how does being a woman in entrepreneurship, from a perspective of a woman, I don't know how, I think I feel like most Bruneians feel this way, that we do not necessarily see the gender disparity. We have equal opportunities for education here, equal opportunity to enter the workforce, and we have equal pay in Brunei. Some organizations, if I may observe, we have more leaders in higher executive position, to be honest, and that somehow has motivated more and more girls, more and more women to take up more leadership roles and position. So in terms of digital entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship as a whole, okay, if I may ask, who makes the shopping decision in the household? Your mom and your dad? Whoa, right? Yeah, so exactly. Around the world, not just in Brunei. Yeah, moms make the decision. Mom makes the purchases, and who has working moms here? Is like most of the room I see. Yeah, working moms having to multitask and balance responsibilities at work, responsibilities at home, and now talking about entrepreneurship, the future of women in digital entrepreneurship. In Brunei context, the biggest and most profitable industry is obviously, I don't know, correct, F&B, food and beverages. there's everywhere, left and right. Like, to think that there's only 400,000 population, I feel like if you put it all together, we will never run out of options where to eat in Brunei. Yeah, so if you observe the entrepreneurship in terms of in Brunei, you look at social media, Facebook, Instagram, there's a lot of food businesses, either at home, either at small stalls, vendors. Have you guys gone to the Gadong night market yet? Not yet? Okay. Then maybe, yeah, you can observe like who does business there, more women or more men. Yeah, and to sort of go back to the question, how this can help. Before there was Facebook, before there was social media, most businesses, especially in food businesses, it's only word of mouth. And now, when you just open up Facebook and just type, I don't know, or chendol, is that your favorite food? Chendol. Chendol. There's tons of businesses that people use this platform on. And for that, like, the importance of having this connectivity has helped more of us be aware that, oh, this is an actual, like, legit platform that you can use, that people actually can interact and people can find, not just interact, but also find information. Yeah, so in terms of, as a woman and as an entrepreneur myself, there's tons of initiatives, there's tons of opportunities available out there. One that I can mention is has anyone here heard of Startup Weekend? Yeah, so I'm actually a country organizer for Startup Weekend in Brunei. And was it last year or last 2 years? We organized a Startup Weekend Women edition. We did many editions before, and there was a global Startup Weekend Women. And we were so scared that no participant will be interested because, well, why as women we need this platform? But interestingly enough, what we found out is that people who want to start businesses, especially women, feels rather intimidated. And by having this platform, they're more comfortable. They see this as a platform that, oh, they're more comfortable to share their ideas, share their abilities, and voice out their opinions when compared to having to argue or debate with their male counterparts. So that's something that is an outlet that, and something that we wouldn't be able to find out if we didn't have this sort of platform or organization to highlight that. And also to share, there's the actual speaker that was supposed to come called, what's her name? Ida. She's actually organizing a Women in Tech workshop this Sunday. And yeah, it actually sort of, it's an encouraging platform. And what's interesting enough is that she actually engaged me, my company, to have a corner to take care of the kids while the mums actually go to the workshop. And this sort of thing, I mean, I'm sorry to say, but wouldn't have come up. It wouldn't be a norm to have an event that has a kids corner. But because it's a women in tech event, this sort of thing sort of have some weight. This sort of thing is being highlighted and being spoke about, and it's just as important. And I kind of wish that gender issues or gender questions could be directed to men as well, and that's an issue. Yeah, I see some heads nodding there. Yeah, and to have this conversation in a very safe and comfortable space should be encouraged, and I applaud Asia Speaks and you for bringing this up.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Chai. So, all right, thank you, the young lady there. So, who is going to answer the questions? So, Alif will answer the questions.
Since I talk about the future of works in the digital entrepreneurship era, so yes, so her question is, what will happen to the jobs if all the works are replaced by machines, by robots, right? So just the same as I mentioned, when you open a business, you not only open a job for yourself, but also for others, right? But in terms of robots, we need to also think that robots, who are the ones who are going to create them, who are the ones going to fix them if they are broken, who are to replace their parts if they are not functioning, right? So this actually creates new jobs, new opportunities for people to venture into this industry, and actually creates more jobs than losing more jobs, right? So do you understand what I'm saying? Because like when we lose a job, it actually replaced by a new job. Yeah. So at the end of the day, we still need manpower, a connection by human, not only by robots, because yes, because humans have that connection that robots doesn't. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Alif. One fact that I read in Forbes, that's like in the day, that's like 30,000 new works are offered around the world. So that means your future are safe. So for the next questions, I open the floor for anyone to ask. Okay, there, sir.
Hello. Okay, I'm Mohammed Nawaf Hazim. I'm from Cosmopolitan College. Okay, the question is, let's say someone wants to start a business or already has a business, right? What if they are at a point where they don't know where it's going up or down, or how to recover if they're already down? Like, what if they're lost midway business? Like, they're not making any profit, but they're not making like any progress, and they feel demotivated. How do you recover from that process?
All right, thank you, Mr. Azim, right?
Mohammed.
Okay, Mohammed Azim. All right. So, who going to answer? All right, Mr. Hafiz, because he has 12 years experience in business. So,
Okay.
please.
Muhammad, all right. Okay, so for me, that's the normal thing I think that most entrepreneur will go through. So I will not tell you fantasy about like how good it is to be an entrepreneur, how good to be in a business and so on, because the trend and all these things change fast, especially now when we are venturing into the industry 4.0, right? So the internet has been like killing most things that we usually do and so on. So for me, the normal thing that I do, especially when I demotivate or I lost things that I cannot think anymore, sometimes you just have to be, I think, go away first, then find friends that you think that you can talk to deeply, which is not the one who's gonna judge you, because your circle is more important, especially when you are being an entrepreneur. Because we need someone that not only positive but listen to you. Well, even though that they don't know whatever you did to the business and so on. But we just need someone that we can talk to, that we can relax and so on, so that when you in a calm mood and you feel better, then I believe that you can think properly now. So in terms of profits and so on, then I think that's the thing that a lot of people been asking around recently, right? So sometimes I believe that some of my friends now that start up the business with me like 5 years before, some are now are already closed because of the money management. So it is really important for you to know the money management, financially stable, and then we need to know that every single money that enters the business to be divided equally in terms of paying this and that. So even though the CEO or the director, whatever it is, need to have their own salary, because the money of the business is not their own money. So that's the thing that I think most people thinking that aku jadi boss ni, aku dapat duit sudah semua. No, but that's how I started before. So that's how am I before, because that's my best regret, I think, of when I don't have any when I don't have any things to pay back 6 years ago. So that's the time I think I should save more instead of now, which is I have to pay all the rentals, pay all more stuff compared to before. So that's my best regret. And I always tell the youth that if you want to start a business, make sure that at the first stage tu sudah we need to save money. So at least 10% or 15% of your income must be saved for the company. So meaning, let's say if you have $1,000, then 15% of it must be saved for your future reference or for your future use. So that's why I think most people that will be demotivated because of financial, or sometimes it's because of human errors, and then people, of course, that's the important roles in terms of business, right? Because of we need more people or better people or the right people to work with us so that we can sustain and we can do more business in the future. I think that will answer your question.
Yeah. I'd also like to add. Is that okay? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for your question. And I think that's one of the challenges of being in entrepreneurship that people are in denial about. That my business is doing fine, although I'm not making money. But yeah, I mean, did you guys know that Amazon just only recently started making money, only revenue positive? That was only recent. They've been around for years. So they saw the opportunity, they saw the value that they're creating. And I think it's also important to look back whether, okay, is my business right for this market? Is my business what people actually want? Does this solve a problem? And those are the main sort of pillars, if I may say, pillars or the essence of what entrepreneurship is. I don't know if you saw this meme, but there was a there was a guy who kept calling his cat, but the cat didn't want to come to him, but instead he offered he placed the milk, and then without saying much, the cat came over to him. So in a sense, that's what entrepreneurship is. You create, you give and provide something that your consumers want. And always look back at that and always look at the business model. Yeah, and there's always places like Darussalam Enterprise where you can find mentors. They have a mentorship scheme right now where you can tap into expertise who has been in the industry for tens of years or probably the whole lifetime as well. So there's a lot of avenues. And if you think that you are creating some valuable businesses that people are in absolute need, then I would say just keep grinding.
All right. Thank you to Mr. Hafiz and Ms. Chai. So when Mohammed asked the question, I remember a Chinese proverb says that if you fall 7 times, you rise up 8 times. That's why we see the Jack Ma, the most successful digital entrepreneur in the world, that he owned the Alibaba Express, and now his business is, I don't know, it's 2 millions and billions in the world. So for the last questions, I open to anyone from the audience to ask the questions. Is there anyone to ask any questions? Okay, let's from, oh, we have 2. Okay, we open to his first. So, sir?
Hello. Good morning. My name is Abdul Qayyum. I have one question to ask. I was wondering, we've been talking about e-commerce lately, right? There's a issue where certain customer find it's not worth it to use e-commerce business to purchase item because to be honest, especially certain Bruneian citizen, we love to travel around the world. So when we want something, we prefer to go to that country, we purchase the item that we want, and at the same time we can get sightseeing. So it's actually a mindset issue. So how do we try to change the mindset issue for this type of people to, motivate them, try to use e-commerce business more than just traveling around the world to waste more money? That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Koyim, for the great questions. So I think Mr. Hafiz can answer it, or Ms. Chai, because we just talked about e-commerce just now. So, sir, please.
All right. For me, this thing, I agree. This is a culture thing, right? So that's why e-commerce is still new in Brunei. I can say it's still new. So we need to make sure that everyone get used to it. Everyone feel normal using it, right? But because it might be normal in Malaysia because of they have a very large peninsula there, right? So compared to Brunei where you di mana KB, bah, okay, sekejap lagi aku turun, WMP kah, kan? So that is the thing that we usually do as normal. So as I said just now, this thing is a culture. So a culture where we need to practice. A culture that when things are compulsory to do it, example, that you cannot pay, there's no more normal receipts, example, that you need to fill in things online. Nowadays that forms pun now, I see that you don't need to fill it on papers, right? Most people are already having their own surveys online, something like that. So same goes to e-commerce. So that's why we need to, I think the startup now are trying their hard, their best, so that they can make sure that everyone feel normal to buy groceries online. So it's the culture that we need to see. I believe that it's a mindset thing, right? So that we need to make sure that everyone to support this kind of thing. So this is normal. It's normal for you to buy a grocery online. It's normal for you to pay anything online instead of just going to the counter. So I believe that most key industry player now are also practicing this. We can see that from DST because of if you pay bills online, then you will get something in return. But if you pay something, if you pay the bills at the counter, then you don't get any benefits. So if you pay online, then you will get something that you can redeem in the future. So I think that's the thing that we need to motivate people by giving them the opportunity to try. And then I believe that we need more exposure. So all these key players need to expose more to the Bruneians, so that's how easy it is to use this compared to the manual or the normal things to do. I think that's my perspective for that.
I would like to add a little bit to that. So first of all, I believe that it's really important that the people, not just in Brunei, but also in Malaysia, because e-commerce is also still new in Malaysia. It is important for all of us to open up, to embrace something new in our lifestyles. Because in Malaysia, what happened back then when e-commerce was first introduced is that these companies, they opened up like they did blog posts about how to buy on their websites, you know, to show how it was done. Because some people don't want to admit that they don't know how to do it. Some people like, they want to feel superior, they still want to like take care of their status. So they don't want to admit that they don't know how to do online shopping. So that was one of the initiatives done by the companies in Malaysia. And second of all, I believe that the entrepreneurs also play a role in creating good customer service to encourage more people. Because, for example, if you had a very bad customer experience, would you want to buy again through online shopping? So obviously no, right? So I think the entrepreneurs also should work towards making sure that their customers have a good experience shopping online. Thank you.
All right.
I believe your question tadi untuk macam mana membagi tahu durang that most Bruneian go out the country membeli barang daripada membeli online arah ketani. Correct. Okay. Do you travel with cheap cost airline or national airline? Cheap. If you want to fly with cheap cost, your cargo berapa? 20. National airline cargo berapa? More cargo airline. Okay? National airline more cargo. If you want to fly with cheap airline, then that means you have no money. If you travel with national airline, that means you have the purchasing money. People who travel with cheap airline to cut costs, but want to see other country, yet shopping, but not sure yet what to shop. People who travel with national airline, duduk business class, they know what they want, not what they need. So in a way to how to penetrate that market, you have to elaborate to them. If you want to if you travel, you have to think of your kilos, you have to think of your accommodation, your time. So why you have to spend all of the time to go to that, just to go to buy, contohnya beli LV lah, ha? Beli LV hanya untuk dapatkan LV harga 4,000 tapi bayar airline RM200. Tapi untuk dapatkan harga 4,000 tu, yet from the online seller in Brunei, contohnya just add on $20. Contoh, which one do you want to go? Bayar RM200 untuk airline, belum masuk lagi makan, minum, tempat tinggal, Grab. You have to explain to them. If you shop with us, you get this amount, but if you shop yourself, you're gonna spend a lot. Okay? Hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Alright, so thank you. What's your name, sir?
Nak nama panjang atau pendek?
Nama pendek, nama pendek.
Zach.
Zach. Alright, thank you, Zach, for the wonderful explanations. So, Alif, Mr. Alif want to add something?
Just like Mr. Zach said, yes, but do you know there's something called personal shopper? Like you don't actually have to travel overseas to buy the branded items. You can actually pay them a few amounts and then let them do the jobs if you really want items overseas. And this is why you need to differentiate the needs and actually the keperluan. Thank you.
Alright, thank you to all the speakers and also Mr. Zach for the answer. So I think I don't need to explain more about the questions. So now I would like to ask the speaker to share his or her final message to everyone about digital entrepreneurship. What is our role or everything that you want to share?
Entrepreneur. So when we combine these two things, we get like something like very important, like the end game, right? And I believe that this is everyone has to like partake, not only being an entrepreneur, but everyone needs to have the knowledge about it, right? So like it or not, we are in this game already. The era already here, right? So everyone need to like catch up and actually learn a lot about digital entrepreneurship, because if not, we're going to left behind and we're not going to progress as a society, as a nation. And just like Tati said, the community cannot develop in terms of social and economy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Alif. Next, Mr. Hafiz.
Okay, so I believe that every Bruneians, especially, right? So we need to adapt to this change too. I believe that we also need to educate ourselves to understand and to believe that it's okay to buy online. It's okay to support either. I think it's normal for us nowadays to shop online in AliExpress, Lazada, Zalora, right? Even I think most of our elderly pun now sudah pandai pakai online. I think on the last occasions that we meet with the families and so on. So kali ni tahun ni dapat dah potong baju. Tani bali di Zalora saja. So meaning people get used to it already. So people know already that if they don't want to waste time, then they know that all these providers can provide them. It's just that it needs your money, of course, right? But then, of course, of course, it has some things to consider, especially in terms of size and so on, something like that. But that's the thing that we need to improve. So we need to try first, then we need to adapt to this change. And I believe that, inshallah, in the near future, everyone should adapt and understand how important e-commerce or digital entrepreneurship or marketing in Brunei, inshallah.
Right, thank you, Mr. Hafiz. Next, to the last speaker, Ms. Chai.
All right. I won't speak so much, but I'm aware that most of you, the Malaysian students, have received your results for, what was it? SPM, right? I see everyone so anxious, but now like relief probably. Yeah, so congratulations, those who did really, really well. Those who are not satisfied with your results, it's not the end of the world. Trust me when I'm saying this from adult, I don't really remember what I did when I was in uni. And if it was in any way sort of not relevant, but it had a big impact, obviously, but it's actually what you do after uni. And seeing that you jumped straight on this path, straight onto this experience to come here and join this program, I think it's a very encouraging thing to see. Yeah. In terms of advice and tips, in entrepreneurial aspect, for me, it's learning doesn't stop. So this is not the end, and the start is just your commitment.
Thank you, Ms. Chai.
Just to add something I forgot to mention just now, I've read somewhere, correct me if I'm wrong, that Brunei has the highest unemployment rate and among the highest in ASEAN. So I think the problem. Oh, sebab sikit. Okay, so basically the solution is basically digital entrepreneurship, and everyone should actually grab the opportunity to venture into this industry, and you don't wait for opportunities or jobs to come knocking at your door, but you need to be the one who actually search for it. Thank you.
All right, thank you to all the speakers. I'm sure that we have a lot of things to share, more about the digital entrepreneurship, and a lot of people to ask questions. We can share it at another time, and I believe all of us, the Brunei and the Malaysia, we can work together and become the biggest, maybe the most successful countries in the entrepreneurship sector, and leading our nation towards the developed nation in maybe 10 years' time. I hope that everyone here gained something today and we can do something for our future. So that's all from us. Thank you so much.